Good morning, boys and girls. Today is Tuesday, April, I've got to look, 14th. Lots of days have passed since the last time I've read a book to you. So today's book is called Clark the Shark, and it is written by Bruce Hale and illustrated by Guy Francis. And thank you to HarperCollins for allowing me to read this book to you today. All right, so let's find out all about Clark the Shark. We can imagine we're back in school while we're reading this book. All right, so we can tell this is an underwater school. There's the school bus, looks like a submarine. In all the wild blue seas, in all the wide blue world, the top school for fish was Theodore Roosterfish Elementary. And of all the fish at Theodore Roosterfish, the biggest and the strongest was Clark the Shark. And look at him coming out of the bus. He's a pretty big kid. And there is his teacher. And there he is. Look how big he is compared to his classmates. Clark loved school, and he loved his teacher, Miss Inkydink. He loved to play upsy-downsy and spin-a-majig with his friends. Clark loved his life. School is awesome, shouted Clark the Shark. Less shouting, more reading, said Miss Inkydink. Lunchtime is sweet, yelled Clark the Shark. Munch your own lunch, said the best friend Joey Mackerel. Recess rocks, bellowed Clark the Shark. You are playing rough, Clark, cried the other kids. Mrs. Clark, trying to get there, Clark loved his life with all his sharky heart, but he loved everything way too much. He was too loud, he was too wild, he was just too much shark for the other fish to handle. After a while, no one would play with Clark. No one ate lunch with him. No one sat with him at circle time. Even his best friend Joey Mackerel said, "Cool your jets, Clark. You're making me crazy." Aww. He looks pretty sad. I'm kind of wondering as I'm reading this if Clark knew that he was so loud and so big and so much bothering his classmates the way they're all saying. One day, Clark asked Mrs. Inkydink, "What's wrong with everyone?" Mrs. Inkydink patted his fin. "Clark, sometimes you play too hard. You munch too hard, and gosh, you even help too hard." "But life is so exciting," said Clark. "There's a time and a place for everything," said Mrs. Inkydink. "And sometimes the rule is stay cool." And so she writes "stay cool" on the blackboard. If anyone knows what that is, that's something we don't see anymore. At recess, Clark tried to stay cool, but he pushed the swing with too much zing. "Sorry," said Clark. "I forgot." "Yikes," cried Joey Mackerel. Look at Joey's face. At lunch, Clark tried to stay cool, but everything smelled so good that he munched a bunch of lunches. "Oh, sorry," said Clark. "I forgot." "We're starving," said his friends. Aw, he keeps forgetting. Does that ever happen to you? Like you know what you're supposed to do and you just forget? In class, Clark tried to stay cool, but a good book got him all shook up. "Now, Clark," said Mrs. Inkydink, "this isn't the time or the place. Tell me, what's the rule?" "Stay cool," said Clark. "Hey, that rhymes," he cried. Then Clark got a big idea in his sharky head. "Maybe if I make a rhyme, I'll remember every time," he thought. The next day, he put his plan to work. Look at that big smile. "The better to eat you with." I thought sharks like to eat little fish for lunch. Not this shark. Oops. All right. In class, when lessons got exciting, Clark wanted to bounce up out of his seat. Instead, he told himself, when teacher's talking, don't go walking. And what do you know? It worked. "Attaboy, Clark," said Mrs. Inkydink. Clark smiled. Lessons are fun. And there he is eating lunch. At lunch, everything smelled so yummy. When Clark wanted to eat and never stop, he told himself, only munch your own lunch. And it worked again. Way to go, Clark, said his friends. Clark grinned. Lunch is fun. Uh-oh, look at Clark. Teeter-totter. At playtime, Clark told himself, easy does it. That's the way. Then my friends will let me play. And playtime was fun once more. Clark loved his life. I think we can see that in his face in the picture. Oh my goodness. That is one big octopus. But then a shadow fell across the playground. A ginormous shadow with tentacles galore. It's a new kid, and he looks scary, cried Joey Mackerel. Swim for your lives! The squad squashed the slide. The squid, it's not an octopus, squashed the slide, and it snapped off the swings. Oops, my bad, said the new kid. Whoops, look what he did to the playground. And he swam. Oops, wait, said Clark. He just wants to play. Let's find a way. And he swam at the new kid with all his might. Clark played harder than he ever had before. Upsy-downsy and spin-a-majig. Why, he even made up a new game, Tail Wump-a-Thump. Wow, that was fun, said the new kid breathlessly, and he settled down. If you want to come to school, you've got to stay cool, said Clark. He finally has a friend his own size. That's a good thing. That's right, Clark, said Mrs. Inkydink. And thanks for taking care of our new classmate, Sid the Squid. Hooray for Clark the Shark! Everyone cheered. All of the kids are looking at him, just so happy to be his friend. Things have really changed for him. So there is the school bus, looks like. He's heading home. That night, Clark's mother asked, "What did you learn at school, dear?" "There's a time and a place for everything," Clark said. "Sometimes you stay cool." Mama looks happy too. When we get a good report from school, Mom is happy. But sometimes a shark's got to do what a shark's got to do. So, boys and girls, this book, although I love it and I thought it was so fun to read, makes me miss you even more. So I just want you to know that your teachers and I are thinking of you. I hope you get a chance or had a chance to listen to all of them tell you how much they miss you, all of the pictures and videos on Facebook. So take a peek at that if you haven't already. And you have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.